けた。ヒロちゃん体感やばすぎでしょ。
So, at the end of the day, it's never my intent to come on cam and review an episode or an anime and just completely come on and be 100% negative, right? Like, that's never the intent. I'm always 100% looking for the positive within the maybe non-enjoyable stuff. But at the end of the day, kind of what I have touted myself on, or, the reason that I'm on YouTube is to review anime. And I do it holistically and individually. And on a weekly cadence, I come on to, here to talk to you. And I talk to you about the episode that we just got done watching together. Now, whether you watch the episode a minute after it launches or, a month or 2 months after it launches or a year, right? You can come here and get someone's opinion on the episode from a critical standpoint. Now, sometimes that criticism can lean very, very heavy towards very positive because the anime just doesn't give a lot of room for negativity or for, it doesn't miss, right? The anime just comes out and hits it out the park. And then on the opposite side, you have the ones that completely miss every single hit, nothing but foul balls, and they give too much on one side of negativity because it just simply wasn't good. Now, like I always state, that doesn't mean that any time an opinion is shared that that's the holistic view of the anime. It doesn't mean that if an episode is just shit, doesn't mean that the anime is. It can very much mean that the anime holistically, meaning if you were to binge watch from episode 1 to whatever episode it ends on, you could have a decent experience or a good experience or a great experience. But it doesn't necessarily take away the fact that one specific or multiple specific episodes were garbage or awful, or they weren't great, or they could have been a lot better. Okay, now the reason I wanted to have this big rant at the beginning of the video, and if you're still here, thank you, is a couple of Cuckoos has been a real struggle for me. And my enjoyment that I was previously having, I would say during the first core, which I think was the first initial 13 episodes, maybe 14, but the first core before the pause, I was legitly really enjoying a couple of Cuckoos. And I'm not going to spend all the time talking about the episode because you watched it, and I will get there, okay? So I was having a really good time watching a couple of Cuckoos because of a couple of different facets, right? And some of this information is a little repetitious, so if it's your like 22nd time here, apologies. If it's your first time, cool. So the reason is this was a really cool anime about like a really cool romance comedy anime about two people who were switched at birth, and by nature of force, sheer will of parents, they were committed and engaged to each other so that two families could join as one family to basically right a wrong, which is the whole switched at birth situation. The second core, though, has introduced so many different twists that are unnecessary, unneeded, and unthought out. Initially, the first twist is, okay, we have the Sagawa stuff, right? And Sagawa has a fiance that she's 100% committed to giving body, mind, and soul, but then keeps stringing along Nagi, like, if he can come and change her fate. But yeah, she's made it evidently clear that nothing homeboy does is going to change the fact that she's still going to go get married and be a little shrine maiden, whatever the hell she wants to do. Then we have the whole Sachi stuff, where it's clear that this is brother and sister, you have this very clear relationship. And then all of a sudden, you have this very strong feeling with Sachi being in love, too much. And then Nagi, in some shapes or forms, initially pushing away, but then reciprocating those and being ashamed or embarrassed by certain instances where flash forward a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, none of those feelings would have ever been surfaced at all. So why are they now? It's just weird and just some kind of, sister fetish. Don't like it. Think it's terrible writing. Then you have Amino's dad trying to say, okay, no matter if now at this point it's like, okay, if Sachi doesn't, if Amino, Erika doesn't marry Nagi, Sachi can marry. So you have this dad who's like Pusher T over here, kind of like pushing a narrative of it don't matter as long as the family's joint kind of thing. Okay, weird. Then you have Erika introduce this mystical brother, right? Very suspicious. Dude can only be like a year older, so technically he still has to be in high school, but he's out of the picture. Did he die? Did he flee home? Did he run away from home? He's still using a villa because this episode showed us that he's still using a villa, so he still has some ties with his parents. Nagi goes and confronts, Mr. Papa Erika over here, and he's like, oh, this brother never existed, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, Did you disown your son? What the hell happened? You can't really disown a teenager. No matter what happens, you have to kind of claim them. Did you send them abroad? What the F actually happened there? And why is this such a mysterious thing? Or is it something that Amino, Erica just effed up in the head and she made this imaginary brother, who just so happens to look like Nagi? But then at the same time, you have that Nagi. There is a picture that Erica's dad has of them, which there's very clearly another child who looks exactly like Nagi does. So, and it's just so stupid, and it just tanked my enjoyability of this anime completely. So now we have this episode, right? And virtually nothing happened this episode. We have some really cool little bit of fan service. We have some bath scenes. We have this very weird and awkward session of, oh, there's only 2 beds here. What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. And then obviously the most evident thing is, oh, well, Sachi and Nagi, brother and sister, is like, just go share the bed, as I'm sure they've done 1,000 times. They were sleeping in a like 8 foot by 8 foot room for their first 14, 15 years of life. It's like, what the hell's the big deal now? Now, because you introduced this little element in there that's just weird, now all of a sudden it's a big deal. They end up having to do that anyways, and they both are very weird about it, to where Nagi's like, I can't even sleep. Even though, he slept in the same room for 15 years, 16 years, whatever it is. It's like, it's just unneeded and weird, and just completely removes me from enjoying the anime whatsoever. Then you have the Sagawa stuff of, okay, she's been stringing along Nagi this whole time. Now she's finally opening up to giving him the chance. Okay, so they date or whatever, but that doesn't remove the hurdle of the fiance that she's never met before. She's still going to have to tell mom, no way, Jose, kind of thing, and it's like, okay, well, if you start dating Nagi, are you going to do that? Do you have the mental fortitude to do that? Do you have the cojones to do that? And it sounds like maybe that's not the case at all. She just kind of, again, like I keep saying, I think I've said now for the 4th episode in a row, Sagawa is just a selfish bee who wants to have her cake and eat it too, and life just simply doesn't work that way. But Nagi's so stupid that she may get to eat up, And then you have, obviously, Nagi completely trying to push away all the feelings that he has for Erica over and over and over, even though that they're evident to me, the viewer, to you, and to anybody who has probably read source material. It's clearly evident there's feelings there, but he keeps pushing them aside because he's like, oh, Sagawa. You know what I mean? He keeps pushing this narrative away because of some crush who might not even be right for him at the end of the day, So you have all this stuff. Then we finally get to, they're at the villa, all these hints lead to, oh, her brother ends up being here, or he was here 3 days ago or whatever. And then Nagi goes and takes off to go look for him in the city. Like, homeboy's still there. It's like, yo, if he was staying at the villa and he left, why would he just suddenly be roaming around the city? It's so stupid. And they waste him and then Erica wastes the whole day. Erica's like, oh, I don't want to meet him now, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, are you in love with this dude? Is it just you haven't seen him in so long? You're worried about it being weird? Is he even real? It's just so many different factors of just like, what the hell is this writing at this point? And you have them share their moment, blah, blah, blah. And then, Erica's like, oh, I could do anything if I'm with you, Nagi. So it's like, oh, what do you mean? It's like, but you're going to leave him for your brother? And, man. I just had basically 22 minutes of just rolling my eyes hard. And what sucks is I was all in on this anime. And I can tell you, those first 13 episodes I thought was really killer, really good, really cool story, a lot of potential. And it's like they just fumbled the ball over and over and over again with all these unneeded plot and twists and all these things that are just hard to follow and unnecessary and unenjoyable. So I know I just shitted on the anime for 9 minutes straight. So let me know what you guys thought. Maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe you don't care about any of that. Maybe you're just here for a little fan service, a little Sachi action, a little Sagawa, a little peek at the Erica Bazangas. Whatever it is, let me know if that's what you're here for. And if you just don't care about the rest, I just want to know what you think 22 episodes in. And at the end of the day, we have 2 more episodes left, so it's probably not going to end great regardless. But maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe they can pick it up. Maybe they can pick up the puzzle pieces and put it back together before the end of the season. So too many other good anime right now, but I'll finish it. I'll be here till episode 24, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.